Donald Trump is threatening day one tariffs against China, as he's implied, but not just China. Also, our closest, or perhaps closest allies and trading partners in Canada and Mexico will also be hit instantly with massive day one tariffs. So he says he'll impose a 25% tax on all products entering the country from Canada and Mexico, and then 10% extra on top of that for goods from China, so 35% for them. It'll be one of his first executive orders, so instantly he wants to do it. He doesn't want to wait. He is that committed to making sure that you pay more for virtually every product you buy. So don't worry, you're not gonna have to wait. Instantly, you're gonna have much less effective money. He's gonna be jacking up the prices. By the way, he has referred to these tariffs tariffs as the most beautiful word in the dictionary, which he's definitely read. And he does seem to think it's beautiful. He thinks it's a priority. He thinks it needs to happen. And of course, when he does this, what do we get from Canada, Mexico, China? I mean, everything. Consumer products of all types, most types of food, automobiles, everything basically we get from them. 25%, 35% price increase instantly. And that will, of course, do grave economic harm to the exact voters who told people inflation and the cost of consumer goods is the main thing driving my politics, and thus I'm gonna put Trump into office, so they're gonna instantly be hit. But that's not the end of the economic damage, because of course, Trump does that. What do you think happens after that? Well, retaliatory tariffs. And Mexico is already promising that they will likely do that, because of course they will. That's what always happens. The president of Mexico said one tariff would be followed by another in response, and so on, until we put at risk common businesses. In both like a metaphoric sense, but also in a literal sense, because not only will you be paying more for virtually everything you buy, but if you work for one of the businesses that likes to sell products outside of the US, you're gonna sell far less of that because the prices will be jacked up by 20 to 35%. And so many businesses will have to cut jobs or possibly go under entirely. And so it is, again, a bold new world that we're entering into, Adrienne, and we don't have to wait. He's planning on doing it on day one.
And I love that. I'm so excited for this thought that I'm going to have to pay more for any kind of imported goods, whether they be electronics, cars, food. This is going to be amazing. And it's crazy to me because in 2018, it was equally amazing when the US via Trump instituted tariffs. And I remember when they did it against China, it resulted in $52 billion in annual cost to American consumers and businesses. Then that's per the Federal Reserve. And like you mentioned, John, there were retaliatory tariffs, and those came down from China and the EU. And that ended up costing American farmers significantly. And the fun number that I also like that is tied to this whole tariffs thing is that a 2019 study from the Peterson Institute for International Economics, well, it estimated that the Trump era tariffs the first time around caused a net loss of approximately 300,000 US jobs. So this is going to be such an exciting period of time where the Trump voters are going to get exactly what they asked for, or exactly not, the entire opposite. That's great.
Yeah, and we'll turn to how likely they are to understand that in a minute. But Skittlebutt in the chat brought up what happened last time. So Trump jacked up a bunch of the tariffs against China, and one of the aspects of this that actually got a lot of media coverage was what effect it had on soy exports from the US to China. And China was like, okay, we're just not gonna buy soy from you, which was absolutely devastating to the farmers. So Donald Trump then has to be like, oh, I'm a moron. Okay, I'm gonna take tens of billions of dollars and I'm gonna throw it at the farmers. And some people see that and they're like, look at him supporting farmers. It wouldn't have been necessary if he hadn't done the tariffs. And the reason I bring this up isn't just to be like, hey, look at the terrible thing he did last time. Like, I don't know if that's in 6 months, I don't know if that's in a year, but that's what's gonna end up happening. And not just with farmers. It's gonna devastate these retaliatory tariffs are gonna devastate a bunch of US industries. And then Donald Trump and the Republicans are gonna be like, oh, we now have to throw a bunch of money to save, temporarily to buttress these industries rather than just not willingly go down the road that inevitably leads us there. And so just a little bit of a prediction for the future, but all of this seems so intentionally stupid.